I want to talk about a skirmish between transparency and privacy. It is a big topic. It is important to discuss, probably the most important issue in the 21st century. However, it is also one of the most overlooked matters because apparently discussing or deciding between transparency and privacy doesn't really help you ostensibly. It doesn't help you to make more money. It doesn't help you to buy wonderful houses. So people overlook that in general. However, actually every single day, the moment you wake up or even the moment you are sleeping, the issue of transparency versus privacy affects you, concerns you, and it is probably akin to oxygen. Just like oxygen doesn't make you more money, oxygen doesn't buy you houses, but if you make a sloppy decision regarding transparency or privacy, it might cost you just like you losing oxygen. All right, it's probably fatal. It is at least abysmal if you don't think about this issue. Hence, transparency versus privacy. So on surface, transparency means everything is open. Everything knows everything about everyone. But of course, traditionally, we already have so many things that are transparent. For example, you tell people your name, obviously, you don't hide your identity. And most of the time, your house, right, your windows, right, you don't really set up too much of blind. People can actually see what's happening inside your house. Of course, I believe at night you have some curtain blind to cover things. And also, transparency generally with all the while, even before the digital era, in the pre-digital analog era, people already give out information willingly. For example, doctors will ask you, for the past 10 years, did you smoke? Did you take any medicine? So you willingly surrender and be transparent about your medical records. And of course, when you go to bank, you disclose many of your financial information. They know a lot of financial records about you. And of course, also we normally would tell our friends a lot of our private matters, even as far as some close friends would know your identity card number. Some close friends would know, some would even know some more dangerous thing you have done that might incriminate you if you disclose them to the world, right? So classically, we already have some kind of transparency. Of course, today the transparency is augmenting so quickly, without us realizing. And even if we are very conscious about it, the entire thing, the entire explosion of transparency is still very nebulous. So, for example, if you every single day you browse a lot of things using your browsers, and if you are not cognizant about privacy, you tend to use Google search a lot because functionally they seem to be the most superior. Although I definitely advocate DuckDuckGo or StartPage.com, some other alternative or Tor browser, but people use Google search and use Google Chrome all the time. So every single day, all your history are logged. And not only that, I look at my Facebook, it seems so spooky. Anything that I've done 10 years ago, for example, 10 years ago, I like a really trivial post regarding a psychological test. I made a silly comment using vulgar words on another person's post, right? All these things are logged within the Facebook database. You can actually look at them using your activity log. That is definitely not privacy. Is a form of very transparent matter. You could know exactly every single movement and your thought on the database of Facebook and Google. All right, your browser logs every single thing. It is as if literally there is another person, an assistant, and an assistant of yours tracking you, and it's not only tracking your physical motion or movement. He is tracking your mental thought. You are not yourself anymore. He or she knows what you think every single second. You don't have any space to think something more dangerous, more outlandish. That's the problem. We are losing of transparency. But of course, aside from them, another hideous one, another egregious one is the matter of location. People check in every place, and when you use Waze or Google Map, they're also tracking your location and obtaining much information. But not only that, rumors say that even if you consciously choose to turn off location, it seems like some operating systems will still be able to track your location surreptitiously. Yeah, and will be able to send some information to system providers. That sounds very nefarious. So we are losing transparency, but this is still fine. You have to go to China, the really nefarious China Communist Party. What are they actually doing is, every single place in the public place you have probably more than 5 or 10 cameras tracking your movements, sending data. So whenever rumors, the more exaggerated version of rumors say that they know, if you are citizens in China, you are a citizen in China, they know at what time, where were you when you throw garbage, when you litter, and of course they know when you jaywalk, all these things because of so much of camera and data, facial recognition system, and probably they synchronize with your identity card and so on. And one day, I think it's in a very near future. Today we are still holding physical identity card, but one day I definitely believe that your physical identity card and your bank cards would all be integrated within one system, within your smartphones, and so on. So things are getting more and more transparent. Everything is within one database. Uh, um, it is as if what George Orwell prophesies in his novel 1984 is happening. Like the big brother is watching you. There's so much of data. Of course. Okay, now let's talk about the opposite, privacy. What is privacy actually? The most basic one, the most no-brainer one is, of course, when you are changing clothes, you should lock the door. No one should be able to look at you changing your clothes. That is a no-brainer. Of course, some of your information like your identity card's number, your bank account's number, your PIN numbers should not be disclosed. Those are right to privacy, and it is a well-accepted social convention. Let's say a person asks, "Oh, what is your PIN number?" Let's say a really moronic person asks this kind of questions, you definitely will not answer it, and it is a well accepted social convention. Even close friends, if you don't answer it, they won't feel offended, right? Even your parents, your family. So those are the most rudimentary privacy. But of course, if those things constitute privacy, if by having those rights to not disclose PIN number, to not let people see you changing clothes, if those things if having those things already consider that, oh, I have privacy, then I would say that this is such a gloomy society. We should aspire for more than that. Okay, then we now can rise above a level. Other forms of privacy, the oldest form in pre-digital era is when you write diary on paper, on notebooks. People should not be able to read them. When a letter comes intended for you, other people should not open it except you. So those are the higher level of privacy, but it is still very well accepted. Then we go one a level higher. So for example, you write an email to or it is just as simple as you private messaging another person. All right, you chat on Messenger, on WhatsApp, then your close friends or your spouse ask you, can I see the chat? And at this point, it is a very tricky matter whether you have the right to reject her and will she feel offended, or whether you have the or whether you are expected to disclose them. All right, this is probably the toughest debate between transparency and privacy, because as a spouse you will run the argument, oh, why are you hiding your chats? Are you saying something nefarious? Are you chatting with another person for adultery purpose? Or are you chatting something that would incriminate you? Because if you have nothing to hide, if you have done not, you have done, if every single thing you have done is ethical, why would you hide it? Right? People will run this argument, and in fact, this is the biggest attack from the transparency camp against the privacy camps, because this argument is very hard to be rebutted. The opposite, the privacy camp, will run the argument that privacy is the utmost right, the most sacred right. Even if I just spoke something completely normal, ethical on Messenger, I should have the right to reject you and not let you to know. All right. So this is the privacy camp, and of course that feels very offensive for people supporting transparency. Just like an employer, let's say an employer calls the employees and the employee doesn't take up a call, the employer, a more nasty employer would want to know the reason. Oh, why did you not pick up my call? I demand a reason and explanation for you. And then if the employee doesn't feel like disclosing because of some private matters, the employer would most likely be mad. And currently, this debate, transparency versus privacy, obviously transparency is winning. Just now I already laid down all the things that is keep increasing our transparency and causing us to lose more and more privacy. But not only that, in the software part, the software of the society, the culture is also gravitating towards transparency. Just now I give you an example. Most people will be offended. Would run the argument, if you don't like to disclose your chat or your letter to them, they will run the argument that you must have something to hide. They would infer that. So I would definitely love to defend the privacy camp. Why is it so important to have privacy? It is something very subtle. That's why people in the transparency camp and our zeitgeist, our current ethos of our society doesn't understand. The most important thing we should have privacy is because if you don't have it, if every single of your movement, your thoughts, your every single of your conversation or messages are being tracked, first of all, you lose individuality. You don't feel like you are a person anymore. Feel like you are a slave. You feel like you are a puppet. But more than that, without those privacy, the space to think, to utter things, you won't even form new thoughts anymore, because every single second you are concerning about, oh, what if I say something slightly outrageous? I might be incriminated. And the consequence of not being able to utter or even conjure in your mind some thoughts that are slightly more outrageous, the consequence of that is we lose originality, we lose creativity, nobody will be able to create new things. And most importantly, we become a nanny state. We become a really childish state that wouldn't be able to tolerate any form of thing that is remotely offensive. On surface, this society will be very peaceful, but at the same time, it is a society that has lost its essence. It is actually a mechanical, mindless society that we wouldn't want to have. So that's the argument. I would probably talk more about it in the future. So see you. Goodbye.